Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. My girlfriend demands to have the first bite every time I get fast food. After that, am I the jerk for just liking my coffee the way I like it? And after that, Coworker thinks my personal out-of-work activities are not as important as her kids. Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen does not get a Big Mac. Yeah, I'd prefer some tacos from Jack in the Box, to be honest. So please smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. My girlfriend demands to have the first bite every time I get fast food. I've been living with my girlfriend for the past 6 months. We're both in our early 20s and have an overall great relationship. From well before our relationship began, I've been a big fast food eater. There's an intersection in my city that hosts 7 different fast food restaurants, and I'll frequent basically all of them. Since I do shift work, I'm generally off the clock at around 11 a.m., and then being too tired to cook, I'll hit up a burger joint for a cheeseburger and some fries. My girlfriend always wants to have exactly one bite, exclusively the first bite, of every item I order. When I noticed this, I would start by contacting her on my way to the restaurant, asking if she wanted something. Her answer was consistently no, but when I get home and dig in, the crinkling of a fast food bag is like a Pavlov's bell to her. She'll immediately beeline straight for wherever I'm eating and ask if she can have a bite. I've asked if I could just leave her a little at the end. No, she wants the first bite. I've pleaded with her to just let me buy her food. No, she doesn't want to eat that much. I've tried ordering a bit more and letting her polish off the whole burger. No, she'll turn every item into a sampler platter and then throw away the food I bought for her after the first bite if I don't eat it. I don't like it. I don't like this bizarre culinary version of Jew Prime Noctis. Can somebody tell Reddit boy how to pronounce this? For the past few weeks, I've been eating in my car and discreetly disposing of the wrappers. I was just telling her I wasn't hungry after work, but the other day she found a garbage bag full of fast food wrappers in our bin on garbage day, and she's furious at me for lying to her. Am I the jerk for not sharing with her? Not the jerk. Stop hiding. Tell her if she wants food, you'll buy it for her, but her having to have the first bite of anything you eat is over now. If she wants to be mad over it, then let her be mad. Edit. A few things have come up, and the solution to it would be, if she orders food and only takes a single bite and tosses it, then she only gets food if she pays for it herself from now on. Agree. Better to be honest, but draw a hard line no to any sharing. If she wants something, she has to request her own item. I don't let anyone make me feel bad for being unwilling to share my food. Or at least start paying for any food she wastes when you do get her some. OP, you're not the jerk at all. Wasting is another issue, but I think OP needs to put his foot down first. OP needs to establish his boundaries. This is not okay. If he can't say no when she asks, he's essentially enabling her. It's not like he has to watch helplessly as she invades the food. It's his own darn food. He has a choice. Yes, he does offer her compromises, but why should she take them if at the end of the day, she can still get what she wants? None of this can work if he doesn't tell her no. Also, there seems to be deeper issues here than just food. Does she eat anything besides the one bite per item of what OP buys? Or does she restrict her diet to just that? The fact that she refused to eat her own portion or meal, even when it's bought for her and brought to her, is very alarming. When she's throwing out perfectly good food for just one bite, it's way worse than just a cute quirk. Not the jerk OP, but next time when you get her fast food, take the first bite before you bring it near her. See how she reacts. Work your way from there. Best of luck. OP. Putting my foot down is not my strong point as she tends to start debating and getting emotional, but you're right. The only way to stop this weird behavior is to tell her no. If she wants a bite of my cheeseburger, she can pry it from my fingers. What possible argument could she have for needing to have the first bite of your food? You're not the jerk here. Glad you're going to put your foot down. She'll argue that he doesn't love her enough to do this. Apparently, there's something called first bite, best bite, last bite, where you give the person you love the first bite, the best bite, and or the last bite. My partner often gives me any of these, but I never demand it. He just volunteers, and I'll volunteer the same to him. Like if he's cooking eggs, he eats the ugly ones and gives me the pretty ones. If we're sharing fries, the last fry ends up on the plate for ages because we're both leaving it for the other person. When we eat at restaurants and order different foods, we offer a taste of ours before digging in. But expecting and demanding a first bite of your partner's hamburger when you're not eating and when you could have had your own, that smacks of territory marking. I am not here for it. Bruh, whoever knew people were so weird about food? You're telling me. If you wanted the first bite of my burger, I'd tell you to go forget yourself. That's why I spit in your food, Reddit boy. Am I the jerk for just liking my coffee the way I like it? I live near a coffee shop that operates from a cart. They are a tiny shop with usually one person on, but sometimes two. Their cart is on the property of a restaurant and is owned by the restaurant, but slightly different. And I'm not a fan of the restaurant, but the cart coffee is honestly some of the best I've ever tasted. They run from 8 to 3 or so, but it usually suits me to come in around 2:50 to 3, but occasionally much earlier. Today I came just at 3 and saw the barista was still serving, so I hopped in the queue, with a group of women following behind me. As she started steaming the person in front of me's drink, she announced to the queue that they could order the coffee from the restaurant because the cafe was no longer serving past 3. Bear in mind it's 3:01-ish, and I had probably been in the queue right at 3, if not a few seconds before. Let me preface by saying the restaurant coffee is just not good. They say it's the same, but it's made by the waitstaff, not baristas, and it really isn't what I'm there for. I also am very health conscious and was mindful of going into a restaurant during lockdown just to order a coffee. The women behind me must not have minded because they went into the restaurant, but I figured I'd ask for my usual. The barista turned around to finish serving the person ahead of me and didn't even look at me. Bear in mind, I know her since I come here a lot. She knows my usual, always smiles and chats, and I've even asked her for some treats as she was locking up once, and she said she had wrapped them up for the night a while ago, but was extremely apologetic and remembers to offer me treats every time. When the person left, she finally looked at me. I ordered my usual and she repeated, "I'll just ask if you could order inside since I've got to close up out here." I asked if she'd make an exception since I'm lockdown conscious, and she said just this once, but seemed off. I thanked her again for serving me, and she said no worries, but as she was closing up, I was sitting in their outdoor area on my laptop, and she would not look or smile at me as she usually does, and was barely looking my direction, even though it was like 3:05 by the time she made my order, 2 minutes later than if I hadn't ordered. I know what people will say about going to a place at closing time, but I was in the queue just in time. I think she would have happily made the exception for me if it weren't for the group behind me, and only asked us all to go because there were 3 or 4 of them. And I'm just wondering if I'm missing something because she acted happy to serve me 1 minute, but was then colder than usual. You're the jerk. You keep going at closing time and have repeatedly asked for special treatment. Asked them to stay open past closing for you, requesting free treats. You're incredibly entitled. Of course they'll be friendly if you're a regular and it happened once. You'd still be a jerk for just once, but they'd act nice out of professional courtesy. But repeated behavior like this definitely puts a strain on their tolerance. Stop going right at closing time, even if it suits you best. Either go earlier or not at all. If you can go earlier, but you go intentionally at closing, you're an even bigger jerk. Stop asking for them to stay overtime just for you. You aren't special. Stop asking for free treats. Again, you aren't special. Stop being an entitled jerk. Edit to add. The treats bit is even worse. OP went back to the barista and asked for treats at 3:45 after the barista had already closed out the till. Also, OP has either not been tipping or not tipping extra even after making them work over. OP is a giant jerk. Edit. About the free treats comment. OP didn't specifically ask for free treats, but in the comments, OP states that they didn't ask for the treats until they saw the barista leaving at 3:45 and after the till had been closed. They didn't ask for treats when they ordered their coffee, which was already late. If you watch a barista close up the till, see them leaving, and then ask for treats as a second, even later order after the cart is long closed, the implication there is definitely that you're asking for them for free. If OP really had intended to pay for the treats, they seem to go to the cart every day, they easily could have paid the next day. Oh my goodness. I missed the part about the free treats. That is so annoying. As a former barista, I know this lady. The customer who thinks you're friends because you're friendly and expects special treatment. Like the lady who walked behind the counter and started making her own drink once, saying, "Don't worry, I live here." Remembers to offer me treats? The entitlement in that statement. Is OP a dog? Dogs are generally more appreciative, but maybe. You weren't just in time, per your story, You jumped in the queue at exactly 3 p.m., so probably a minute or two after, knowing they close at 3 p.m. The barista asked you to go inside because she needed to close and you refused. She caved so as to not upset you, likely knowing you'd react poorly as a regular. And based on the previous encounter you mentioned with the treats, she's probably intimidated by you. She wouldn't smile at you as she was closing because you're the jerk. You held her up, and depending on how strict her schedule is, you likely set her back a few minutes and could have caused issues for her. Some companies are very strict about overtime. Maybe she had to pick up her kid. Maybe she's on the way to another job, etc. Edit. This story does not match the title at all. Add that to the list of reasons you're the jerk. Right? I saw the title and was expecting some drama about wanting almond milk instead of regular or something. Not, I showed up when they were already closing and demanded to be served because I'm special. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or the barista? Please let us know. Bruh, what kind of treats you talking about? Don't worry, Karen. We'll pick you up some more when we go to Walmart today. Coworker thinks my personal out-of-work activities are not as important as her kids. I'm a married 36-year-old woman with no plans to have kids. I recently had an issue with a coworker where our boss emailed her and I to ask if one of us could cover an evening call. It's a 9-to-5 job, but we occasionally have evening calls due to collaborators in a different time zone. The coworker asked me to do it because her son had a soccer game, but I said that I can't do it because I had a volleyball game. She said that I should do it because the soccer game is for her kid and my volleyball game is just for fun. I said that respectfully, my outside of work commitments are not less important than hers because I don't have kids, and that she should take the call because I had taken the last 2. She scoffed at me, and I know that other people around the office have been gossiping about me and saying that it was super messed up that I made her miss her kid's soccer game. I think that it's incredibly important to support working mothers. I am always more than happy to accommodate the schedules of the mothers I work with when it doesn't cause a significant inconvenience to me. For example, some coworkers leave early to pick up their kids. Our company is great about that, and I'm happy to work project schedules around that. I also would have taken that call if I hadn't had a conflict, as long as it wasn't a pattern of me taking significantly more evening calls. I talked to a friend about this, who's a mother, and she said that I should have just done it, because people who don't have kids really should have more empathy for working parents, and we don't understand how hard it is. I said respectfully that I do understand that working mothers have much more stressful lives than I do, which is why I decided not to be a mother. I also said that I can have respect and empathy for working mothers and also value my time and choices equally. She similarly scoffed and said that I don't understand. Am I the jerk here? Follow up. Thanks everyone for the support. I'd like to acknowledge that a lot of the support is coming from working mothers, which I appreciate. Almost all of this has been respectful, but for anyone bashing mothers generally or using mean terms, I don't need your support. Not the jerk. I love it when people say, "But you don't have a family," as though people were hatched from pods. Having kids isn't a free pass to get out of things you'd prefer not to do. It ticked me off when I was single and newly married. Like, if I don't have my contractual time off, when am I supposed to start one? I took my first vacation last week in 2 years, and on my return this morning, one of my non-friend coworkers messaged me and was like, "What could you possibly do for a week and a half with no kids at home?" Like, dude, I have dogs to go out with, books to read, Reddit to argue on, naps to take, Sims to control, and a lockdown to hide from. OP, I'm a mom of a tween. Your coworker and your friend are being jerks. It's unfathomable to me to use my choice to have a kid as an excuse to expect my colleagues to cover for me. Do I want to be there? Yep. Do I have to miss sometimes? Also yep. I wonder if her husband is pressuring people to cover his work so he can attend, or if she expects him to. Not the jerk, but it wasn't smart to say what your conflict was. You didn't have to justify it. All you had to say was, "Sorry, I really can't. I have a prior commitment." No is a complete sentence, especially if she had done the last 2 calls. Not the jerk. This isn't like her kid was hurt or in a hospital, so she can't come in. It's a hobby versus a hobby, and clearly her turn to pick up the shift. Enjoy your volleyball game. Am I the jerk for ordering fried pork intestine at a Chinese restaurant my girlfriend took me to? Me, 24 male, and my girlfriend, 23 female of 2 years, went out to an Asian restaurant yesterday. I'm a white guy and she's Asian, and she had been saying all before we went how I shouldn't be afraid to try the real Chinese food that they have there, and I kept saying I was looking forward to it because I love trying new things. But every time I said that, she just raised an eyebrow and went, "We'll see." Well, we got there and the menu was in Mandarin with English subtitles, and they had all kinds of things on it I'd never even imagined. It looked awesome. I ordered jellyfish tentacles over vinegar as an appetizer, and she just went, "Okay, I get it, haha," ordering the weirdest thing on the menu just to prove me wrong. And she wouldn't believe me when I really enjoyed the dish. She tried some and just went, "Whoa, oh my gosh, there's no way you like that." And I just went, "Well, would you like to come take a seat inside my brain so you can tell for sure?" And she just rolled her eyes. I ordered the fried pork intestine. I've had tripe and I liked that, so I figured this would be cool, and the waiter was trying to discourage me from ordering it because he didn't think I would like it. As soon as he said that, my girlfriend just pounced and was like, "Yeah, no, he wouldn't like that. Don't order that. Order something you would like. Order fried rice or something." And I was like, "No, I want to try fried pork intestine, and I'm ordering fried pork intestine. I'm not here to try fried rice. You can get that anywhere. I'm here for something I can't get anywhere else." And the waiter just cautiously took down the order, and girlfriend was like, "Well, you didn't have to be like that." I didn't even raise my voice. So I finally get the pork intestine. One of the chefs pokes his head out of the kitchen to watch me eat it, and it was incredible. I asked my girlfriend if she wanted any. She made a weird face and said, "No, obviously you went and ordered the grossest thing possible just to make a point," and accused me of being passive-aggressive. I ate it all and wished there was more, and all the way home she was saying how I am passive-aggressive and she can't believe I did what I did. And when we got home, I just said, "Look, I can't believe you're upset that I ordered food from a place you took me to, and you're even more upset that I liked it." She said, "If you're gonna be like this about my culture, then you are never meeting my parents." I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was being passive-aggressive and just didn't realize it. People can be passive-aggressive unconsciously, right? I thought I was ordering what interested me and eating food I enjoyed, and I'm probably gonna go back to that place without her because the food was straight up fire. But maybe I should have ordered something else so that it didn't look like I was bragging about how I can handle Asian food. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like she should be with a guy who shares her culture so that she can be with someone she believes. Not the jerk. Sounds like she's the one being passive-aggressive, to be honest. She tells you that you shouldn't be afraid of ordering real Chinese food and then gets upset with you? Very weird reaction. I totally agree. Why did she take you there if she wanted you to either order something more American or not like what you got? Feels like this was kind of a weird setup. It does feel like a weird setup. I agree. Not the jerk, OP. It's very odd that she was annoyed that you were willing to try new things. I mean, isn't that the point of having authentic restaurants? Exactly. He was never going to win. If he ordered fried rice, she would have given him crap for not trying something more adventurous. She set him up to fail. Not the jerk. Your girlfriend is overreacting. Yeah, pork intestines sound gross, but hey, kudos to you for enjoying the heck out of it. I'm sure as long as the chef cooked it right. Maybe I'm just the out-of-touch southerner, but pork intestines are just chitterlings. Is it that weird of a dish outside of the South? Mind you, I've never had them, religious reasons, but I've grown up in a community that would eat them. Not the jerk. But you've been dating 2 years, and I feel like I'm missing some context about why she was surprised at this stage of your relationship that you enjoy trying new things. OP, that surprised me too. I mean, I like sushi and mainstream Asian foods, so there was a range of Asian foods she knew I liked. But I guess she just didn't think it trespassed beyond the mainstream. She knows I like trying new things. It's been a thing before. I guess she just didn't know how far that went. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or his girlfriend? Please let us know. This is what's called a red flag. Leave her now, boyo, or you're gonna be dealing with this weird crap for the rest of your life. Am I the jerk for having my husband's friend kicked out for bringing his 4 kids to my child-free wedding? My husband, who's 30, and I, who am also 30, got married 2 weeks ago. We decided on a child-free wedding due to venue choice, food choice, alcohol, location, etc. We included this rule in every invitation, including the one my husband's bestie, Leo, who's 35, who is a widower with 4 kids. Leo complained to my husband about the rule, but that was that. At the wedding, my husband said he was worried his friend Leo may not come since I refused to let him bring his kids. But about almost an hour into the wedding, we start hearing noise from a distance. We look closely and see Leo standing there with his 4 kids dressed nicely. He was arguing with the staff about the kids not being allowed. I felt horrible because the staff was drilling that this was a child-free wedding and that the kids needed to leave. But Leo kept arguing and went as far as to yell out my husband's name, telling him to come tell the staff off since it's his wedding. I was so upset and embarrassed, but I kept my composure and went over to talk to Leo. I told him to either get the kids somewhere else and come back or just leave. He acted offended, saying this is his best friend's wedding and he was invited to it. I said I was sorry, but the rule is followed by everybody, and everybody should respect that. He argued about how he wasn't just a random guest, but was family, but I said it still applies. I insisted he make his choice, but he doubled down, talking about how he couldn't find a babysitter and how he shouldn't have to miss his best friend's wedding. I had the staff escort him and his kids out after he kept pushing, which led to some of my husband's friends to complain, saying Leo has special circumstances because he's a widower, and it's essentially my fault for not providing babysitting options for guests. Wedding went on after that, but my husband was angry. He said that this is his best friend and that I just caused him to miss the wedding. He said Leo stopped answering his calls until today and has not responded to his messages because of what I did. Now my husband believes that I have just ruined his relationship with his friend when I could have just made an exception for him and the kids since they were there already. Am I the jerk? Edit. Just so you know, my husband was on board with this rule, but wanted me to make an exception for his friend and his friend only. My family and friends would have felt deeply hurt if I said yes. Not the jerk in the least. The rule was well telegraphed in advance. Leo just showing up was an absolutely jerk move. I'm convinced that, given his reaction, perhaps your husband encouraged Leo to just show up without your knowledge. If that is true, he is also the jerk. The husband doesn't seem to have been on board with the whole no kids thing, and based on the friend's reaction as well as the husband's, I almost wonder if there wasn't a bit of a smear campaign against OP among the friends, and as you suggested, the husband suggested Leo to show up. Yes, it sure sounds that way. OP using the word we several times in her submission, referring to the no kids policy, but given husband's reaction, it sure sounds like he wasn't on board and may well have engaged in some subterfuge, which backfired when OP held her ground. Not the greatest start to a marriage, in my opinion. You don't have a Leo problem, you have a husband problem. If he wasn't on board with no kids, the time to say so was before the invitations were sent. Imagine all the anger and hurt from others if you had let Leo's kids stay. I suppose one compromise would have been to let them stay through the ceremony only, but that still would have created hard feelings among others. You are not the jerk, your husband and Leo are both jerks. A "don't you know who I am" story. Like a month or so ago, I'm prepping the bar before the restaurant I work at opens, when the phone starts ringing. I grab the bar phone and answer. "Thank you for calling our restaurant. This is Sarbog. How can I help you?" A woman answers. "I'd like to make a reservation for 4 people at 5 p.m. Now it's a Saturday, and we're always booked for Saturdays by Thursday. So I tell her, "Unfortunately, we're booked tonight, and any reservation would have to be for after 8:30 tonight." "Are you serious?" I've never had anyone respond like that on the phone before, and I don't know what to say for a fat minute while I'm trying to process her tone. "I'm sorry, but we're booked at the time." "Are you seriously saying no to me?" she hisses. Now, I think she's messing with me and offer a chuckle before repeating that we're booked. "I just can't believe you're saying no to me. You tell everyone in that restaurant who you're saying no to." I'm too stunned to say anything helpful, so I say, "Okay," and hang up. I turn to my manager and ask, "What the heck?" We have a pretty good relationship, so he just laughs, not knowing what happened over the phone. So I tell him, "Some lady just called asking for a reservation, and I told her we can't do it. And she asked if I was seriously saying no to her." He asks who it was. We have caller ID for most customers, and I tell him that I didn't recognize the name, which I didn't. Then the phone rings again. I tell him to answer it in case it's the lady again. It was, except when my manager answers, she tries to tell him it's her birthday, a detail she did not try with me. Regardless if it really was her birthday, we still couldn't have fit her party in on such short notice. My manager says we can't make the reservation, and she goes off with the "I can't believe you're saying no to me" BS and hangs up. We take the name and number from the caller ID and put it into the reservation system to see if she's been in before, and we even called my boss, the owner, to see if he knew her. And nope, nothing. We still don't know who she was, but we still laugh about it. I was really looking forward to finding out who she was. Me too, Karen. Me too. Am I the jerk for calling my brother's new girlfriend out? My brother, 33 male, has been dating his new girlfriend for about 4 months. She seemed like a nice girl, except she just doesn't like my other brother's wife. I've heard her talk a lot of crap about her. That she's weird and her hair color is ugly, just stuff like that. My brother's wife is a weird character, but she's a sweet person that changes her hair color often. Might sound biased after saying that. I don't say anything the times I've heard her talk crap about her. She usually says it discreetly later on to my brother. Yesterday, we had a family dinner at a nice restaurant. My brother's wife came in wearing a dress. Truth be said, it was tight and low cut. Nobody judged her, and we had a great time. My brother and his girlfriend rode with me and my sister. We rode together to the restaurant. While we were driving, my brother's girlfriend randomly says, "Did you see her in that dress? She looked nasty." There was a long, awkward silence before I said, "Excuse me?" She says, "Who wears a dress like that to dinner?" My sister looks at me to say something. I say it's none of your business, and I'm pretty tired of you talking crap about her. She again says that it's the truth. I say, "Okay, let's see how bad you are," and we ride in silence. We meet up at my parents' house, and we walk in, and I go up to my brother's wife and tell her that my brother's girlfriend has something to say about her. She goes red in the face and calls me a jerk for instigating. My brother and his girlfriend leave. Everyone asked what I was talking about, and I told them what she said. My parents told me I should have left it alone. My sister says I was right, but I also was in the wrong. My girlfriend praised me for it. I just want to know, am I the jerk? Not the jerk. I like your style. You stuck up for someone you care about. She messed around and found out. Not the jerk. You know, I completely agree, except that he probably embarrassed the brother's wife. She didn't need to be told that people were to say that about her in front of her entire set of in-laws. I'm not saying he's the jerk, but I feel like there's a way to do this without publicly humiliating the brother's wife. Nope, this is exactly how you deal with people that talk crap behind others' backs. But then again, I'm biased because this is exactly how I handle it. I have a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to bullies, the outright bullies, and the gossip bullies like this one. If you're big and bold when the person isn't around, be big and bold when the target is in your face. No excuses. Solid, not the jerk. Trust me, I don't know where your rental is. I'm just enjoying my coffee. While my husband collects "I don't work here lady" incidents like a politician collecting bribes, I only have 3 of my own. This is one of them. This happened in the spring of 2018. My mother had traveled abroad to visit one of her relatives, so when she was flying back, I went to get her. We live about 3 hours away from the airport. Because our oldest was recovering from a stomach bug, hubby decided to stay home with the kids and I would get my mother and bring her home. My mother's flight was scheduled to arrive at 13:15, but when I got there, I found out they had a 2-hour delay and I had to wait. I thought, all right, I'll enjoy a coffee while I wait, and notified my husband. The weather was good, low 20s Celsius, with no clouds, and decided to have my coffee on the outside patio of a coffee shop. I grabbed my tablet and, because the airport is a bit windy, a yellow windbreaker. And apparently, that was the problem. I was reading my book on my tablet, enjoying my coffee, wearing my yellow windbreaker, when I heard a, "Hey, you!" I didn't think it was directed at me and continued reading. Then I feel someone looming above me and a, "I'm talking to you." I looked up to see a man looking down at me. The following exchange had happened. Cast, we've got me. We've got Chad, the entitled jerk. We've got Karen, entitled jerk's wife. We've got police officers 1 and 2. Me. Yes? Chad. Where's my rental? Thinking that he was asking where the rental companies had desks, I replied that we were on the other side of a rival's area. Chad. Okay, be a good employee and bring it here. Me. I will certainly not do that. I don't work for the rentals. Yes, you do. Now go and get it. Me. No. The thing goes back and forth like we are 4-year-olds when Karen inserts herself in the conversation. Karen. Honey, what's taking so long? Chad to Karen. This employee here doesn't want to bring us our rental. Karen comes and grabs my windbreaker's lapel and puts her face uncomfortably close to mine. Karen. Listen, you little jerk. Me and my husband are very good clients. I don't care if you're on your break, but if you don't bring the car in 3 minutes, we will get you fired. Me, extremely upset at this point. Listen, jerk, take your paws off me, or we will have trouble. Karen. Oh, you threaten me? Me? Oh, you are so getting fired. At that point, she swings her arm, hitting the coffee, spilling it on the table, missing the tablet, and on me. Me standing up. Buzz off, jerk! Go find your own rental. Karen at that point slapped me, while her husband was screaming at me. I flipped and slapped her back, which initiated a fight. When the initial argument began, a couple of bystanders had taken notice. The shouting had attracted a crowd, and when the fight started, somebody called the cops. 2 officers came and separated us. Officer 1. What happened? Chad. The employee refused to help us and then attacked my wife. Me. I don't work here, you jerk. And your wife attacked me. Officer 2. Madam, language please. Karen. I want to press charges. Officer 1. Okay, all of you are coming with us. We ended up in the airport police station. One officer went to get the manager of the rental company, and the other reviewed the tapes with his boss. The rental company manager verified I wasn't an employee. They wear white shirts and black ties and a lanyard with their access ID. I was wearing a Cthulhu t-shirt and jeans. The cameras verified the attack. I pressed charges and left to get my mother. Support our channel by joining as a member today, and we'll give you a shout out in our next video. Or come watch this video next. You won't believe what Karen does in that one.